Hey everyone, thanks for coming to another Formation Series concert. For those of you unfamiliar with this who might be new to it, we have a concert of new and or improvised and or experimental music the third Thursday of every month. Pandemic aside, it's been going on for around a decade now. So yeah. Over the years, we've had, many years ago, a bit of spoken word stuff included in various sets, like Rick and some others have done that. We've had dancers just about every year at some point, a lot of projection and film type stuff, and we figured we would try something new to bring some more people together. So it's good to see a lot of faces here tonight that I don't recognize. That's great. So most of you probably know what the idea is tonight, but we've got 3 musicians, and then we have 5 other guests who are going to each perform for about 20 minutes, one at a time, along with the musicians. We have Mark Mantell on drums. Hey. Paul Westfahl was going to play, and we found out at about, 4 o'clock today that Mark was going to fill in instead. So thank you for doing this on short notice. Pat Reinholz on cello. Adam Murphy on clarinet. And we'll bring up Dan Nielsen.
Just face in this direction and watch you and listen, and then when 20 minutes is up, I'll sit down, okay? I woke up one morning and I couldn't remember my name or anything that had ever happened to me. I thought I had amnesia. I went to see a doctor. He gave me a series of tests. He said, "The good news is you do not have amnesia. The bad news is you don't have a name and nothing has ever happened to you." Since my car broke down, I've been spending all my time at point A. I asked the guy at the bank if I could borrow some money to buy a car. He said no. So I asked if I could borrow his car. 6 months ago, I became a professional dog walker. As of this morning, my dog owes me $3,000. Sometimes, to confuse my dog, I bark like a dog. And sometimes, to confuse me, my dog says, "Stop it." When the blind man died, his seeing eye dog was despondent because it really should have seen that truck coming. I hate long suicide notes. If there's no point going on, there's no point going on and on and on. The discussion finally came around to what kind of frozen pizza Jesus would eat. We decided on Supreme Self-Rising. One morning, Jesus was out walking his dog when they came upon a group of lepers. The dog barked and pulled at its leash. Jesus said, "Heal," and the lepers were miraculously cured. And Jesus saith unto them, "I was talking to my dog." Words that contain a silent letter should also have one that's extra loud. "But I am wearing a mask," the Lone Ranger said to the store manager. "Just once, I'd like to be in a room without someone pointing it out," said the elephant. Ducks know decoys aren't real, but they fly down anyway because to them it's art. You look confused. I'll just have a sliver, said the overweight termite at the birthday party. Two bugs on a leaf. One turns the other and says, "Do you believe in life on other plants?" When I see a fly on the wall, I can't help but wonder if it's someone who wished they could be a fly on the wall. And when I eat an Oscar Mayer wiener, I can't help but wonder if it's someone who wished they were an Oscar Mayer wiener. I couldn't decide if I wanted to be a poet or a pilot, so I majored in creative skywriting. My new pencil sharpener is so good, I have to write for a while before I can see anything. I was up half the night deciding which problem to sleep on. If your glass is half full, fill it. If your glass is half empty, finish it. Yesterday, I put on the wrong shirt, and rather than admit my mistake, I went bowling. When a real man goes bowling, they never throw a second ball. Second balls are for sissies. Take your open frame and move on. Let's hear it for the band. Come on. I'm an overly optimistic appraisal consultant. For a nominal fee, I'll come to your home and wildly exaggerate the quality and value of your possessions. I saw a man with a sign, "Will work for food." Some people really hate grocery shopping. If you look through a telescope into a microscope, things appear actual size. The scariest ride I ever go on is the escalator. Poor people are always the first to fall through the cracks in earthquake movies. Liberals develop a value system during their teenage years, but with conservatives, it happens between the ages of 2 and 5. I went to see an ulterior motivational speaker, so now I get things done, but for selfish and dishonorable reasons. If the inventor of the walkie-talkie had also invented television, it would be called the City Watchie. Getting married for sex is like taking up golf for the free pencils. I have almost no imagination, but what little I have is extremely vivid. I can see some shoulders shaking, and I see some smiles, and sometimes someone will breathe a little bit different, and that's, I put all those together, it's as good as a laugh, really, when you come right down to it. I'm tired of women who play games except volleyball. My plan for the future is to make plans for a more distant future. She said I was like a group of words established by usage as having a meaning not deducible from those of the individual words. I said, "Are you calling me an idiom?" I was already a vegetarian when I found out that plants have feelings and can communicate with each other. So now I can't eat anything. When a friend invited me to play poker, I said okay, but I was bluffing. The easiest way to stand out in a crowd is like a sore thumb. The easiest planet to see without a telescope is Earth. If I'm buried, I want an open coffin, and if I'm cremated, I want an open urn. Some men don't like to put on a condom, but I do, because it means I'm about to have sex. This section is winning. I'm just letting you guys know this section is winning. I have a false alarm clock that rings randomly throughout the night. At the Parts of Speech Award, the recipient of the action of a transitive verb was a direct object. With time travel, it's possible to leave where you are and arrive somewhere else sometime in the future. A perfect stranger is one with whom you share no mutual friends. The shortest distance between 2 points is when they are almost touching. I watched the movie, and then the prequel, and then the sequel to the prequel, which was the same as the movie. My favorite thing about wedding receptions is the bunny hop. I do it to every song. I do it when there's no music playing. Two Neanderthal teens in a high school classroom. One says, "Do you know what period this is?" The other replies, "Pleistocene." That's for my paleontologist friend back there. A prune is a plum tuckered out. Last night I thought I saw myself floating above the bed, but it was just my levitating identical twin. No one has ever regretted that there isn't an afterlife. She had me eating out of the palm of her hand when we played baby goat. When God told Eve that she had sinned, Eve said, "Does that mean I can put some clothes on?" My dog collects celebrity signatures. He's an autograph hound. I apologized because the sex only lasted a few minutes. She says, "Oh, that's okay. Seemed like forever." I don't want to end it all, but I'd certainly like to end quite a bit of it. I love how your eyes light up when I shine my flashlight through your bedroom window. The windmills of my mind spin fastest when I blow my nose. They mocked Rene Descartes for introducing skepticism as an essential part of the scientific method, and because he had a girl's name. I'm having a good time anyway. My subscription to Lumbago Digest ran out, and now all I have are back issues. My girlfriend subscribes to Menstruation Monthly. It's a periodical. I have a sign on the front door that says, "Please use the back door." I have another sign on the back door that says, "On second thought, maybe the front door would be better." The woman next door collects refrigerator magnets. All night long, there's this scraping sound as my appliances move slowly across the kitchen floor. Let's hear it for the band. I'm counting that as an applause break. I have a reticent form of OCD. I feel compelled to do certain things, but not right now. The doctor told me I have a brain tumor. He said the most important thing is to maintain a positive attitude, and that I should think of this as the first day of the rest of my month. My grandmother was a peripheral visionary. She could foresee the future, but only off to the side. Lyme disease isn't as refreshing as it sounds. Cerebral palsy is the thinking man's palsy. Premature babies are a handful. When a tree falls in the forest and no one sees it, it gets back up. Going to the beach is whale slang for committing suicide. When I can't remember something, I think back to when I could. Sometimes when I'm asleep, my mouth slowly closes and my lips kiss each other. Some basements, I think I offended someone. Did I offend? Maybe. No. I'll try better. Some basements are so scary, no one has ever gone down them. I worship the ground you walk on, but that could be a coincidence because lots of people walk there. At the phone company, they keep unlisted numbers on separate sheets of paper. The Big Bang came as a complete surprise to the infinite empty silence. Sometimes I save the crusts from a loaf of bread and pretend that it's a bun. My favorite thing about dinosaurs is the gummy vitamins. My least favorite flavor of jelly is petroleum. Motivation and opportunity are good things to have, unless you're a murder suspect. If you don't pay for your baby, the hospital keeps it, and it grows up to be a cafeteria worker. It won't be much longer, folks. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. I wanted to go miniature golfing, but it snowed, so I went miniature cross-country skiing instead. The only bad thing about being Dracula is you never know how your haircut looks in back. When I was first learning to walk, my psychiatrist advised me to take baby steps. I'm so old. Instead of good night, my girlfriend says rest in peace. If vegetarians eat vegetables, what do humanitarians eat? When they asked Jesus where babies come from, he said, an angel visits your mom. I asked the girl in the men's department if they had bowler hats. She said bowlers don't wear hats. If you never get real sick or have a bad accident and manage to avoid murders, you'll eventually have to kill yourself. When I'm in a restaurant and I need to sneeze, I go to the salad bar and use the sneeze guard. At a restaurant, a table with a reserved sign is for people who do not share their feelings, thoughts, or emotions. I went to see a chiropractor for my back, but all we did was dance because I went to a choreographer by mistake. If I eat my cereal with a fork, I can use the same milk more than once. Sometimes when I'm bored, I go to the grocery store and disconnect all the bananas. I'm saving up for a rainy day. Cloud seeding is so expensive. The ocean sounds the way it does because of all the seashells in it. If you can't get the cap off a bottle of NyQuil, you are a child. When I was little, I thought I had a guardian angel, but it was just my imaginary friend wearing an angel costume. Show me a man sitting alone in his room, and I'll show you a man wondering who we are, how we got in there, and why are we staring at him. I'm Dan Nielsen. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Stan. You all set? Next, we've got Bryon Cherry.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bryon Cherry, like they were saying. Let's give it up for the musicians and Dan and everybody that was in part of that. This is called You're Gonna Make It After All. Shoe store is burning. I'm flexing out front. This convenient circus crawls. It lets them keep cozy gentrification chimera perch. Minnesota nice upside your head. Always heard that you ain't gotta be scared to get your ass kicked. I am the reverent friction of the ghost, the one who convinced me to burn, the one chained to my clammy comfort. My skin is apocalyptic. My skin is war helicopters over protest cities. Apparitions do not fear, they do the scaring. Apparitions systematically pop and lock to the rocket's red ass glare. It's called Eat Everything. The siege starts without warning. Everyone eating everything. Grim progression of gyrating plates. You know the street's dead, but it ain't stopped the killing. Merchant mercenaries hot for an investment. Like it was said, something is decapitated. It ain't like its head was ever in the right place, though. It's filthy rich out here beyond the surface. Its belly full of justification and an arch denialism. Coltrane beaming Alabama from the implications. Never knew enough to make it. Tripped up on the sour vine floor. Heaven, you and I got a problem. Heaven, intercede or fully join the riot. This is a poem about Eric Garner who got killed by police. It's called The Prophecy Must Be Concealed. Like a street brawl, not in a film, we lack strong backbeat, an icon drug on loan, predicting a specific heat. A heaven made of exits, please put the money in my hand slow. Like a pocket full of Lucy's, illicit, sold, we lack space to breathe. One handshake, one chokehold to another. This where we dream sleep in sleep. Rotations round a mechanically stoked fire. Grinding spin, the machinations of plates. What reanimates this perilous plane are horny ghost prophets. What to make of the ambiguous invectives, the ambient lighting, the rage of gods. A pocket knife suddenly sticks like hitting dice, and all the tender folks can't stop laughing. It's called Because the Sky is Blue. Lipstick disaster, processions of possessions, marked up like Bano bloated prophecies in this ochre cemetery century. They say it is all fractals, and they pose problems to be solved and resurrect aims to be surrendered and annexed as the axes begin to take grind, gritted teeth attached to despair skulls, cathedral cranial compartments where electricity is crystallized, cemented into reality as it has been constructed, construed by others, many of whom have already sought refuge in death and leaving cardboard cutout confusion. It seems especially hot in here, where they call it mania. Pretenses and golden pistons suspended in spring's shivery air that is soldiering solemnly through the environment to touch that which has no choice but to come. Call it summer to this hell of an invisible, inevitable mission that this enigma has been on, dining on hearts, but first placing them in dominant fists toward sky, emblazoned with entranced eyes. And to think it all takes place at no additional cost to the believer. I'm a little nervous up here. I'll tell you a secret. I haven't done a poetry gig in a little bit, so it's good to get out in front of people, and especially playing with this band is pretty inspiring. So. This is called Untitled 108. Dig a shallow grave, swallow and baptize there the press of God's shrapnel from the sky, harvesting the earth, its inhabitants. Device operating as you kneel, decide which filter will make this moment the truest. Her head is a tomb, the water so blue, unconscious place strengthening legs for the long journey ahead. is called voltaic organisms, or I don't give a fuck. Once you're in the air, after jump on trampoline, then second bounce becomes mere inevitability. The wind this day, this mid-morning, 11:32 a.m., 5 3/4 seconds to 11:33 a.m., is a performance vehicle doing its wind work with little to no effort, it seems. 11:33 is a special number, but it never gets to passing how any imaginary thing could be more special than another imaginary thing, and how humans, immersed in limited periscope understanding, could discern that to be true. Those humans always placing atoms in collider at CERN so that other collections of atoms can commence studying the collider atoms to find out how these atom battlefields came to begin in this self-referential experience. Like a bag of trap house money, we atoms are stashed and cinematically sullied, but we still spiritually suckle at the indiscernible teat. Decide on your emergency contact. Death is here, but it is like a meme of which you want to steal its clever image. But then your social media refreshes as existence slides you one more nearly imperceivable fuck you. Yet for now, death is done, or at least quiet. The oven has gone ding. All of you are now leavened above the trance-like trampoline. That is, all of you are leavened from dead things. Previously dead atoms now thrive, now sending signals that bodies must feed off the ecstatic liturgy of other soon-to-be dead atoms. This abattoir really is beautiful here in the spring, with the blossoms bending in unintended fragrant mannerisms like machine-created effigies in the warming sun. The atoms of blood now curly-cued down are logically placed drained, engraved, and engorged in the bottom of slope killing floor. And so, that is gravity. That is gravity. We are gravity. Thank you. Thank you. I wrote this for my best friend in the entire world. It's called Everything Means Nothing to Me, after Elliott Smith. She says death and weed and long ago hurts and how they still battering and newer reasons to be aggrieved, like a new, boring, repetitive job, both parents dead, a complicated longing, like some man inappropriately touching her, like there is a God trapped inside itself, talks of not knowing how to breathe in darkness, light being just a refracting, fomenting agent. She says she would not do death to herself, says she has no goals. Fuck having goals. She speaks of death as a means to cohere these stone trinkets she carries that have no intention, no means for coherence. This was written in 2020. It's called On the 32nd State in 2020. Stars are vague tonight. Many mother portals open. Wild tongues reach for high flames. Thelonious Monk plays brilliant corners on a zephyr. The people lock arms. The ritual calls for blood. Blood where the meaning of blessing is derived. Blessed mother words. Halogen halo streetlights insist. Halo halogen light street fight the dark. Tattered strands of legitimate conclusions. Culminations of deified violence. Cataclysmic, shifting, bedrock. So this one happened exactly as it's written. Remember when the moon was blood red for a while because of the wildfires and stuff like that? I happened to be on a boat the night of the full moon in July. So this is called On a Boat, July 23rd, 2021. You will foresee the moon in burst blood, then you will see the moon in full blood bloom. You will understand the gloom, yet you will have no way to adjust crimson sadness. You will birth thoughts and pine for the way it never was for us humans. Those revelers on the party boat will not will themselves to see that the pregnant red orb is due to raging wildfires thousands of miles to the west. The earth is death. It will feel good to say that out loud. On a party boat where the band is playing. On a party boat where no one is listening to you. It will be beautiful. It will be beautiful. It is science. Silent but violent, the grass grows from blood. Pillagers profiteering, loudest mouth a staggered drip with the beggar's lilt. Houston, what if the problem is me? Coarse yet smooth, the accredited acceleration, accumulation, accumulates like the wrapping of a futile tourniquet. The sacred gun turret turns and explodes through to the freedom crime. Has God's plan chosen me to be the freedom kind? To rake coals, to sometimes have coals raked over me, to do it all in joy. For the truth is that every person, even with my self-conceptions, my oblong obligations, algorithmic messianic complications, even I am just a cluttered collection of curated star matter, the vast majority of which will never know that a Bryon Cherry ever existed. Thank you. Linchpin, with the line from the legendary Roots Crew. A man drags me in a cotton sack. I can tell the ropes that will hold my casket will break. Bacteria in my flora gut, now flourishing off my flesh, merely the first to taste me to bone. Strangulation, gunpowder moon, corrigible mind quickens, past elongated cursive, corrosion-lated lyrical memory locomotives. Even stranger, these memories seem to whip back and forth like Willow Smith's teenage hair, thousands of times, like the secrets of flowers which will never know efflorescence. Will I ever know that I am death, that in a way, always death? I can midnight my being now, as all of the known constellations gesticulate in varied states of what the humans call undress, as they created me, as I zip back to my last breath, as I flood flaccidly into a never-coming future. This is called, this is about a shooting that happened in a grocery store in Colorado a couple years back. We probably don't remember because there's been a lot of those going on in the last 5 years. But it's called, It Is Monday in America Again. Language is a crop of subsistence farming. That is, it tends to be inadequate for the radical lifting now visibly necessary as we vow to solidly break one another. Sounds of violence, speak bodies translation, split second barrage, marches morning mountains, storms clustering invasive, pervasive pageantries, hell-bent, silent tones, thirst ate hunger, death encapsulated and hanging out in activities we must do to survive, all invisible phenomena harangue humans. Patronage, scars, wounds, bullets, happenstance, anger, food strewn, blistering, bullets, bodies like frozen ballet. A grain of this is war pervades. Again, the ajar crucible seems suitable. It happened again, after it happened again. I think that might be my time. Thank you guys so much for having me.
All right, thanks. Next up, Annie Grizzle.
Sick. All right, y'all. I like your shirt. Perhaps. Yeah, hell yeah. We do what we gotta do. Yeah. No. In case there was any question. Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks so much, guys. It's really been a blast to hear y'all. So, all right, yeah. Yuck it up. Sick. The eye is an oil twisting from what it is taught. Today the deer are hunted in their own throats and rabbits dehead the marsh. Morning erupts prudishly into the green awakening. The glittering bulbs of sewage grow from one decade to the next, alive for the backwash of this afternoon. Which tongue in the gravel-faced mouth did you say is yours? What was the address? Who brought dentistry to the party? Was it pulled from the bottom of the ice as a floor? Is it mask? Is it a glimmer? A soft nape of dirt water? Is it where you wish to rest your tongue? Is it how attracted you are to it? Is it the salt that hits the bud? Is it a conversation stench? Is it your tongue flat on its power? Flat on top or on bottom? Is it a switch? Is it the unassuming vellus that stands for you, croaked target? Are you up? Are you looking to submit? Are you felt hotly wrung? Are you along tasting itself a language? Is it the flaccid fangs of choice you find so of worth? Is it the trench coat opened? It is. Shriveled illusions of flexibility stacked on each other's shoulders? It is. Is it an apparitionist? Is it felted shape? My naive surface? Is a bushel soft? Is a thought a thing? Is it presence? Is it loons fucking in duets in a dance with the marsh? Who brought dentistry to the party? What party? Where do I go to not get there? I'm not the one with the fear of snakes. Joan is. Take a prairie grass between the tongue. I'm too small to know I am a hill. The siren of affected light draped across the pasture, across the driftless, skipping over the country road. A culprit of something beyond the terrestrial, or more likely the baptized interest of a tick-tock. A pickled bend attuned to the presence of ice beneath the pond. A bro-ish wail of approval, a voice still come adrift from the mid-lit wound. 19.2 fluid ounces of spread. Even in this little city, we go teething as cowards. Pulled up and into buoyant misfigures, docked tomato October. Not at all a fish out of wasted water, but like an extension of a mammal, only peripherally aware of when and why it floats. With enough romance, the siren will make Hoarcon Marsh glow. But if you turn on the overhead, we see an oil painting of meat. For fin as for cheek. The originators of thought fold neatly in tagged photographies, neither host nor meat tacked, just a jar for the whole of every fantasy. Am I doing this right? This body of fire? I erupt prudishly into the green awakening, the glittering ribbons of shit I flop from one decade to the next. In that moment in the sculpture park, in the water near the scraggled floor of the internet, I discovered with my head propped up by my hand, with my arm bent on the bed, with my legs curled under 3 blankets, with my feet sticking out in socks. In the crumbled way a memory presents, surprise is a stepped pause, slushed, pink as a color in snow. I am the spit river, I discovered. In each duality lies the start of another. Melody without dependence of a spine, the way light drips from a window and on to the snow at night is how I feel about time. Dead trees as a word, ice as a word, how you take it as a sentence, glacial and erratic. 10 years and they'll be lining up to shit in this lake. With enough romance, the Midwest will make even locust glow. But if you turn on the heat lamp, we see maggots teeming with the blankness my pious screech is made of. Coincidentally, the morning was made for remembering. Glittering bulbs of sewage grow from one decade to the next, hung from the backwash of this decade to the next, all along the house of last year's decade to the next. The eye is an oil twisting from what it is taught, and today the deer are hunted in your sightless throat. What niceties do we make of this? In which haphazard direction do I direct my thoughts today? The siren lay in a little thicket, a little marsh. The siren muses alone, meaningless and pleased. The siren is apathetic. No, shh. The siren is sleeping. The siren cradles moons quickly across itself, watches suns jump fearlessly, geometrically, notes how sound, when coming from an unseen source, doesn't break up like an image does, it engulfs. How is that? If only it were strings that filled my head at night, visions through a watered haze, sipped and readjusted, hair tucked by a hand, assuring lilt like a language song, and the lisp of eye speech and concrete, the traditional gift. If you listen to the interlude of archways begging ascension, you'll hear the siren brine. You'll hear space as a third sense may be what you're arching for. You'll hear where the body worms in stillness, so filled with lake oil, grass flowing through the psyche as small vibrations from the unexisted up, an illusion or fabrication of the mind, reheaded as air pinned out to dry, soft pillars of dander and fur, that greasy iridescence of being time today, refusal of reality, the human tendency to turn complexity into duality, feedback as an output signal, harmonic properties of cement, the space between mirrors to let the deer in. The siren lay in a little thicket, a little marsh. The whole of every muse is a meat fetish. Everywhere I look is Lorene Nidecker, and yet I can only dream of being naked on her wall, made wincingly of want, fleeing from where I could have slept. My mattress, my soaked mattress, I turned my face up into the pitted sun, the sun your head my bed, where you could be sucking some siren shell until morning. Freckled April hue up close. I am sifted with the purpose of actualized emotion, straight to the tip of a forward expression. You are teeming with the projection. My attraction is made up, but this is cinema. This is the art of spun horn and an account of weeds. Wetted erotics placed neatly in the jar. Held between the breasts throughout the swim. Lust-proof discharge. I am called to the flyover carpet. Siren is a sound of somewhere I am to want to leave from, and if I am really still looking for a rope within the deer, the top float, that breathing organ, then let the question become the smell of artificial sun in the sewage district. Once again, with my hazy little curb, I stroll along the seam of the carbonated river beneath the brutalist architecture, watching Gen X lovers pick concrete for each other. Have I enough pondered the sound of sinking or the slow float of twigs? In the dumb light, I acted as if I would meet Mary Knoll by the water, becoming the middle, clutching our bellies tight in thread of another jazz-beaten splint. Destruction as a sculpture in the water by the bridge, tastefully soaked, with its hand on its own nozzle, with its filling of the stream immaculate, with its refusal of reality engorged, magnetized by its fiber. I get coffee near the courthouse. The barista is a mere trumpet and more forthcoming than any tooth I've ever met, and I've had a lot of teeth. I haven't had that many teeth, but look at me, alive for the backwash of this afternoon. And let me ask you, does the bush have fleas? Have you felt? Have you fabricated the hand that travels your sweated pit, pulled up and into buoyant misfigures, slick grass along the teeming vellus that stands for you, croaked culprit? Are you lifted? Are you attuned? A pickled bend, a swooned? Decadent, and so descended from the siren.
We'll take about a 5-minute break so everybody can stretch their legs and whatnot, and then we have 2 more guests. Okay, we're back. We've got two more guest performers, the first of which is Michael Ravnikar.
So these poems are all going to be Polish octaves. This is a poetic form that I invented that I thought would be appropriate for working with musicians. The octave, so we've got the theme of eighths. I'm going to explain the rules in just a second, but because these are called Polish octaves, they're dedicated to my bushi, my grandma, my great-grandma, Scott Nicky. And I was thinking maybe if there's some kind of variation on a polka that we can work into this somehow, that might be appropriate for the moment. So the form of the Polish octave is built around the number 8. What I do is I take an 8-letter word, and then out of the letters of that 8-letter word, I create an 8-line stanza. And every line in that stanza must contain either 8 letters, 8 syllables, or 8 words, only using the letters of the title. So intermittently, you'll hear an 8-letter word. That'll be the title. I'll move on to the next movement. Thunders! Dented deer turds, duet red trees, sudden sunsets, undressed tense trusts, turrets, suture, untenured thrusts, her herd hushes under russets swayed, unsent duendes teethe her sheets stern, her uterus resents dentures. Neutered tunes, tender, stuttered stresses, tethered thus. He ushered untruths, she endured. American. I'm an anemic maniac in a racier rare anime. Me a Sumerian merman remarrier. I marry a nice enema ice cream. I'm a crane, arm and ermine. I cram a ceramic race car in. Ramen, acne cream, rice, career memes, and inner imminence. Amen. Atrocity. An iactric tactic. Toxic tractor, rotary taco. I roar a ratio at Tokyo. I carry a cocoa carrot tort to a rick-rack arroyo. An oratio irritator, I cataract a city. I try to air ictic toccata aria. A tarot critic in a ricotta tiara. I riot Troy. Rarity or tacit addict traitor. Oh, starry Atari array. Oh, icy coat, ciao. Triangle. I gargle a gelatin rain near a leader. I negate an eternal regret. Lingering genitalia align. Glean intent, ignite an irate agrarian giggle. I arraign a teen, arranging an elegant earring in a latrine. A lingerie. Tarlatan negligee glinting. I train an alienating narrator, a negligent anti-egalitarian, unversed, suede sundress, uneven nerves, reused duresses, rude ruse, revered nudeness deserves duende, nurses sneered, vendors surrendered, usurers severe veneers sunder revenue, venue dense, undue, verse never sees, nerds endure, sudden verdure ensues, under sun reverend senders need reserves, Venus reverses serene serve, see, reruns end, dude. Asteroid. A sedated rooster titters, its irises steroid errata. sordid tears iterate a tired dossier's saddest tattoo in dead air. Trade in distorted treatises deteriorates. Tender diarists in tiaras resist idiot disease. So, a toad state's tastes retarded, a trader said at a soiree. Sated dieters, Tetris sodas. Ditto. Did doodads address arrestees? Or did artists' arteries redress distressed desserts? Dialects. A sad saddle said, add less, sells ads. I taste a stale Celtic ale teal. I see a sect, a dial, aces. I dialed, alas, less addled. Dialectical state. Scalded steels, telltale scales, dices, stall. I said, all dead laid still. Let's see. A sad saddle saddles a less sad lad, etc., etc. Defiance. If decadence fancied a nice decaf cadence dance, I faded in and defined need. A defaced indie fanfic in a fancified Eden. A deaf niece fancied a candied cicada. Indeed, I did acid and fifed a candide. Inane definienda face. A dandified fiance? Denied. A financed indica finca? Denied. A denned facade and edifice? Denied, denied, denied. Wordplay. Yop, doo-wop, payola daddy. Plop. A PayPal layaway loot parlay, a parody parlor. Drawl a droll ploy, a wordy play. Drywall a doorway rap. Roar woo. A rowdy oral poly play pal dolly. Drool away. Allow wayward wool warp ardor. Lordy Lord, pray a polar warlord prowl dowry. Payload. Loyal odor. Children. Hidden in chin chi, I seed riddle, icicle a shell. I decreed red line. I deicide nicer niche. I cindered Edenic nihil. I harried a lenchi. Indeed I leered. Indeed I diddled. I rehired her sign. I hindered her celis leader dindle. Her ecrine heine and eddied linen in chenille. I chilled cider. I derided crenelled dreidel. Real drenched lichen elided hill. Hence I decline leech derriere, he cried. And gunmetal. Manet, meet Mammoth. Mangle mental luggage, gag me. Antenna gauge tenement alumni genteel gateman, glam legume. A gaggle, tattletale. A glum nat gown, eat a gloom. A gluten mantle. Latent, Lenten, mutagen. Glean anti. Gelt, gleam. Galatea. A teen mama. Management attenuate and unduant. A gallant glutang. Talent, untangle an unmeant language. Emanate annual animata. Untame a tune. Let lung augment elegant lament. Familiar. I arm a mafia. I rim a far mammal fair. I flail air. I air a ream of fail. I maim aria. I affirm riffraff. I film Lamar Flair. Malarial, I fill 'em all. I airmail me familia, a frail raffia. I am a flim-flam llama. I am a liar. I am fair. Seashore. As a hero shears a horse's ass, ere he hear assessors erase a rose so rare, he oars ashore, shares a horse ear. See her shoes, her sores, or her rash? She harasses seahorses. Hear, hear, shoo, shoo. She shears her hero's roar, a rash error. Seers see. Hearers hear. So he hearses her. Harsh. Oh, here's a rarer horror. Eros erases ash. Dos más. Polisemi. This one's from my man Nick Ramsey. Oye, oye, oye. Mommy peels pesos, loses poles, messy moose slop. Popeye sells moly, pomelo peeps, poppy lollipops. Oh me, oh my. Cesspool employees elope. Semple popes mop sleepless slipe else. Pomo psyops poi yeses. Summonses possess celepsies mossy slopes. Mopey polyp posse melee loses polos. Osmos ye soy pozole. Pom-poms yell. Smelly poops plop. I don't make the letters, and I don't make the words. I just put them down and try and put them together. I lied, there's two more now. Okay. Fetishes. You gotta hear fetishes. He fits sith sheets. Stiff stiffs, stiff stiffs. She hefts his effete testes. Teethes his tits. F this. He seethes his fifth hissiest fit. She hits his feet. She fists his theses. The thief testifies his thefts, his heists, theists tests, fifths, tsetse fifes, the iffiest shit. She aestheticizes fish teeth. She sees sissies, stiffies. He tithes her fees. Infrared. I read a dread edifier, iffier and iffier. Indeed, I are a darn fifer. Faded fairy, riffraff, I defy to find fear. I did nerd and arraign, deafened near. I daff an arid derriere in rarefied air. I freed fiend earned a dinner. Frida redefined an era. I finna raid an ain't addenda. I need air. Thank you.
All right. I normally make announcements about future shows and things at the end, but let's do it now. All right, so as I mentioned at the beginning, it's a monthly series. So for the rest of this year, what we have coming up is for October, we're going to have 4 musicians doing electronic music. Grant Richter, who is like a hero of synthesizer design, among other things, and happens to live in Milwaukee, asked me to do this. So Grant Richter, Michael Furman, who is a friend of his and mine from Naperville, is coming up. Adam, who has been working with Grant in designing some synthesizer devices and things. And then they asked me to join in too, so I try not to play on too many of them since I book all of it, but since they asked, I'll do like a 10 or 15 minute short set as a part of it as well. So we've got that in October. November is the duo Felsteg, which is Dave Shepke on synths and drums, and Matt Meixner. And then Carl Suki is putting together something as well. And then for December, it has become our tradition to have the two groups, Trench and the Tontine Ensemble. Trench is myself, Steve Nelson Rainey on saxophones and sometimes drums, and and Paul Westfahl, yes. I blanked out for a second. I was like, there's so many. I started thinking ahead to the Tontine Ensemble, but Paul's not here. He'll never know I forgot it. And then the Tontine Ensemble, which is unconventional string quartet of violin, viola, cello, and bass, including Pat, Molly Lieberman, Alan Russell, Barry Clark. Yeah, so we will do our two sets for December. So that's what's coming up. For those of you that are performers that are interested in performing on the series, contact me, message me, talk to me, whatever, and I will be booking early next year sets starting real soon. So without further ado, thanks again to the musicians and everyone that's performed so far. It's been great. We've got one more performer, Steve Timm.
I think here will work. And if it doesn't, I'll just shout louder. Okay. Just excuse me, I have a little Parkinson's. It's nothing. Are we ready? Cone cadence, mesochondriacs, storm frosts of musk, swaddles of mulo, intermittent, smut smut, smoot, wearing their stand. Sad's a duckwat. You don't know where to come from where you do. Thigh of tinge, leprosy. Lorn bide, Culee is a forwarded skirm tongue. Yeah. Oh, I hear me breathing. I feel feigned dark fumble. As soul charnling, liaison lover churn. Sizzle go listenly, sled of mercy, Engrenal, ear guardian, stubborn me, empty funerals, by Cain, Garmer, all durst to warm cell tension, Cormentarian, a dawning, Streer, Uncleman, Slining, False, Sale, Own, Gradative, Tor, Tongue, Corvide, Alamate, Shrunken is Punny! Pop! Hey, 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 ow! Solder welder sojourner, de bring fescue to the marshes. A miscue of fessers. Me's Cretan, wife to Fuselbox hoax. Gory, no, I wrong said it all. Unhuffing at legionary the time. Giddy dim maker, nominate fuel. So a grind go, whores into a masculine burn. Swigs debut finder. Oilative was he vine. The old fat binder. Spongs him. Quite mare and file. Splooch. Modier consonants. Wide at swirl, they both add down their oat selves and swooned to fray. Let's go! Stand ear on end, love of kinds, mortals, crusp. Okay to say you, here, tear, musket woods, smooth bringmans, deviler odi dammer, ungosh missizem, betroyed, fang, stemmerunger, bringbrar, whose brother and hume wheels to the cloud wreck might thrown. Then they, there, them, berries, and there, them trees of their roses up a seat, toins to the hit tones, growing fun to fig to patsuki, deal. A pausing, holy pelf was againable, what stilly he still unstill. This wood gaudy poundling of notes, no one heaver imagined. Seasel seraphims of crow gels and pea-hen sirens. Syringeal furtatives and imputitudes of almighty uvulomoxidatives. Never cold, never humsy, avaricianer of the so and then the old zo and zo, zickle and zive, scyther and seethe, goddesses and gropterus. I hear the organs, curry, cripe, holographies. Seal orchids and granite apps. Peeled ferroots, a puff where the corn strow, figular, dative, stamens of his locks with their keys of fair flames. I dud know why anyone would be you are waiting for what? This the music, Jack. The veil of where nose and ear meet. Storm urgent, flee toward, nanosecond, man-aware, main clutch, uncombable, swerve, shrive, let, flay, be, shield, fly, shall, ladder, I am a can be, shilling for this. Can I love in these words, these syllables, I'll be this here of Deringer, I would will be live. Well, of course, it's the old cat's tongue and a nutsack corundum. Oak heads and deer skin, crow's end and a deformicary, trigo, staver, stites. Yeah, go! Hey,
first.
Mark Mantell, Pat Reinholz, Adam Murphy. Thanks again to Dan, Brian, Annie, Nicholas, Steve. Thanks everyone for coming. Thanks to Woodland Pattern for continuing to provide such a great home for all sorts of creative stuff.